previously on the Elevate With Us podcast. So I'm so excited to welcome Michelle to the podcast today.
Hello. Having those one-on-one meetings with their clients and not being bombarded with the things that would keep them from doing those things. So that's what my company focuses on, and the company is called Hooked on Closing. Vacant houses, usually if you're ever purchasing a house that was vacant and it's been a flip, I'd say 9 times to 10 there's going to be like liens or some
those
sort.
Like weird violations.
Yeah,
and so this
violations.
This was really, really weird. And that, if I remember correctly, it held up closing because we had to get it painted.
Mm-hmm.
And I think... I hope I remember this right. They actually removed all the fines because it was foreclosure. Like the bank was responsible.
Yeah,
the bank didn't respond to any of the mail that came. I mean, there was like 70 letters from the HOA at the property. Other than that, I mean,
and a lot of times
it's the only one I can remember.
Yeah, and a lot of times title will get things handled, and we won't even really know about it. Or I'll see something come over on the title commitment, and I'll just reach out and say, hey, I noticed this. Is this getting handled?
Right.
And they'll be like, oh, yeah, it's going to be cleared. You'll get an updated title prior to closing. So, it's just those little things that can pop up.
I did have one. It wasn't that long ago either. When I represented the seller, it was probably 2.5 years ago. When the seller bought the property, the title company recorded the legal description wrong.
Oh.
And the best part was the title company who originally did it was the one that was required to fix it. It was like around the holiday time, like Christmas time. They were in the process of moving offices.
Oh.
So all of their documents were like in boxes and in storage. And I think they needed they needed something from the office to do it. So that delayed closing. But it really wasn't, I mean, I guess that's a cloud, but not real. I mean, it wasn't like anything epic, like we're delaying closing by 6 to 9 months.
Yeah.
So what were the lawsuits about? Like poor workmanship? I'm assuming.
I don't even know.
I
don't get involved in that. That's outside of my lane. I try to stay right.
I know, but this sounds like a fun lane. Like, what's your if it's other people's drama, it's always great, right? Like,
sometimes
it's not yours.
I guess you can boil this down to my introverted personality. Like, I'm not into the whole gossipy thing about it. People will call me and be like, oh, what's the da-da-da? And I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know. I didn't need to know anything about it. So I just stay right where I need to be. And, because to me, at the end of the day, I don't care. Like, okay, great. Whatever those judgments are, tell me when they're going to be clear. Tell me when we can keep moving with the process. I don't need to know the finite details of everything. Like, all I need to know is, what are you doing to fix it? What's our timeline? How do we go from there? But it's funny because sometimes I am like, should I be asking those questions?
You're like, wait, should I be more nosy?
Should I be more nosy? Should I be like, hey, what's happening here? Like, what did you do?
Yeah, no, for sure.
But no, at the end of the day, it's all about getting to the closing table for me and making sure that my agents get paid and the clients are happy and everybody's happy and
absolutely
where they want to be.
And you do a really good job of it. What is, let's just say, what is something that you wish agents would do better? Like, what would make your job easier?
Communication.
Okay, so you're like the last person to know when the shit hits the fan?
No, not always that. Actually, what I would say is email. Use email. Stop texting. Email. I understand we're in a digital world and, everybody just wants to email or text. But if you're ever in a situation, texts don't hold up in court.
Such good advice.
So it's
really
hard
is.
to understand, but it also helps you time manage, because if you're not glued to your phone all the time, like if you have a TC, I'm in my emails all the time.
Right.
And a lot of times what ends up happening is my agents realize, rather quickly, there's always this time period when they start working with me or etc. That there's a little bit of learning how to dance
wonkiness
together,
of figuring it out, of like your flow and their flow and how to make it both work.
I call it learning how to dance together.
Absolutely.
So there's always that time, but once they figure out, like, okay, Michelle will answer that, Michelle will handle that.
She will.
You know, and then also me figuring out, like, okay, well, how much do you want me to handle it? You know, like, do you want to address this, or would you like me to say something? And there are in certain circumstances, you know, where I'll let the agent know that's not for me to address.
Right.
You know, anything that has to do with money negotiations, that's not for me to address. If we're talking about the lender put a delayed ordering the appraisal, and now we're delayed because of that, no, I'm going to fight for our client and for you to say, that's not our problem. I'm sorry that you waited on that, but now what are you going to do to fix it? You know, those are the kind of things that I'll jump in and say.
Well, and a new agent or an unexperienced agent or an agent that maybe was part-time and decided to go full-time, I mean, they might have closed 25 transactions over a long period of time, and then all of a sudden they decided to go into real estate full-time. They might not know that.
Right.
And so having someone on your side, like you said, in your corner, that's like, hey, listen, agent, you know, your buyer is being hurt by this and it's not okay. Like, we can push back on the lender about this is amazing, because they might not realize, A, it's an option.
Yeah.
B, what to say. They don't even know what to ask their broker. Or it's, you know, I don't know, by the time they get to the email, it's, you know, Saturday at 2:00 and they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for doing this yesterday, because I'm just catching up on emails.
Right.
So, you know, I think that's a phenomenal, and you're right. And I think I need to probably tell the agents and the brokerages it's a really good idea to put as much in email as possible, especially if there's time frames or anything like negotiational.
Correct.
I just made up that word. Anything that's being negotiated to make sure that you do it in writing.
Well, then it helps me too, because it helps me also know, like, what's happening with the transaction.
Right.
Because if you're in your text messages, I'm not privy to that.
No,
so
not
there
unless,
might be information that, and if I'm not privy to the information, I can't go to bat for you.
No, for sure.
If something goes wrong,
and I would imagine
something's taking a detour, then I have to call and be like, hey, so fill me in. What's happening?
You all of a sudden get included, and you're like, send help. What's going on? Which I would imagine, and this isn't really, you know, the agent's fault or your fault or anything, is sometimes the other side of the transaction forgets to press reply all.
Yeah.
And that's a very, very hard thing. And you can remind them, but at some point, you know, you get really annoyed and you're like,
we deal with it.
You know, you're just forwarding emails and stuff. And
well, so this is an interesting point to bring up, because that happens a lot to me. And I'll have an agent, they'll forward me the emails. Like, I'll ask for something from the other agent, and my agent will forward me where they sent it. And I'm like, no, don't do their job for them. Like, they should have included me on that email. I'm trying to teach them. This is a teachable moment. Don't handle it for them.
Right.
And then my agent's like, yeah, but I should have sent it to you once I saw you weren't attached on it. I'm like, well, you could look at it that way, or you could look at it like, okay, we'll make them send it to me again.
Right.
So, there are those different scenarios. I will tell you this, though. This morning, I opened a new escrow for a title company that I've never worked with before. And this title company text messages instead of email. So I got the title commitment via text.
And email, or just text?
Just text. They have a portal, and I was like, ooh, I don't like this. Like, I did not like that at all.
So funny. I was just going to ask you about how you feel about the portals in general. Because some title companies use it, some don't. I feel like the most popular one is called Qualia. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I feel
the agents don't want to use it at all.
I don't. So it's because we're lazy. I'm going to just say it. Because we have to double log in.
It's a double login.
Because we are, what is it called, working out of pocket, right?
Yeah.
We're in our cell phones so much. It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Right? So then you're trying to do it at home, and then something else comes up. Lazy was harsh. Sorry, guys. Was a harsh word. We're just running so fast. It would be easier if it was just in our email.
Yeah.
But, you know, some great things about it is
secure.
And that's where banks, it stores it.
Stores all the
information.
All the
documents like in there, which I think is great.
Yeah. It's good. For me as a TC, I don't mind working in those. I do see how it can be frustrating or annoying for an agent on the agent side of it. And this is where it's kind of nice that I understand a realtor's side of things.
Sure.
And the TC side of things, since I did do real estate for many years. So if you do work with a title company that utilizes those kind of secure systems, I would definitely have a TC, because
you just get lost.
It's easy to get
just
lost.
Gets lost
with those.
because you don't even know what it is in the beginning. Like, we keep talking about new agents, but if you're a new agent, you're like, what is this? And why do I need it? And you might just ignore it.
Well, and you're going to get all these emails that say,
so many.
Title said this, sent a message, then Michelle sent a message, then Title sent a message, and you're just going to have all these emails in your inbox that say we sent a message, and you're like, what is this?
I know. I never thought about that. I wonder if we need to have a discussion in the brokerage about those, especially for the new agents.
Well, and that's where, I had the class with you guys about organizing your Gmail account or your inbox. So I'm huge on organization, and that's probably one of my passions, I guess you could say. Like, if you go into my inbox, I'll never have more than 10 emails in my inbox. If I have more than 10, I'm not, it means I wasn't working.
I have like 2,500. 2,500 probably. I'm not good at that. I have this fear of like not having a lot of emails in my inbox. I don't like the little folders because I can't remember they're there, and I panic. Because I started doing it too late in life.
It's not a habit.
And because I'm an old lady, it's just hard to do it. But I have hopes and dreams of one day having this blank inbox where it all goes in those beautiful folders on the side. So I did once hire a VA to do this for me.
Oh, okay.
And
a virtual assistant, which is very different from a TC.
Oh, sorry, a VA, virtual assistant. And she did a lovely job. She did everything I asked very nicely. And I can't find my emails now. And it's like a user error. For sure. Like, it's a super, super user error, which is one of the reasons. Have I talked to you about this? How I want to have Apple everything?
No.
Oh,
but I'm Apple everything.
You are?
Yes.
So what I learned is, and when I say this is embarrassing because I realize how non-technology friendly I am. I learned about 2 months ago that if you have an iPhone, an iPad, and is it called a MacBook? They all sync.
Everything talks to each other.
My biggest...
So I can be on my computer, my laptop,
you get text messages,
and I'll get a text message on
you can respond to it.
And I can respond.
Okay. So this, takes a weight off my shoulders because, number one, I have 2 work computers because I don't travel with them. I have one that I travel with and one that stays at the St. Augustine office because I work there the most. But PC, whatever they call it, laptops are heavy. That's the other reason. They're really, really heavy. I then, because I'm an idiot, I recognize this, and I don't remember, I do a lot of stuff on Word or in Google Docs.
I'm Googled. I'm a
I don't
Google
remember.
Docs girl.
I don't remember to use Google. If I did Google Docs all the time, then it would share to all the things. But since I'm not, I don't remember. I only remember 10% of the time I do it in Microsoft Word or Excel. It's stuck on that device. Then I can't find it, and what do? Recreate it. So I feel that I will get more organized.
I can show you how to fix that, though, too. If you do the Microsoft.com, you can have all your docs stored in the cloud so you can access them from anywhere. But we can talk about that later.
Instead, we're just going to buy all Apple products. Because I'm also really excited about I won't have to travel with my laptop. I will just be able to travel with my iPad with the Magic Keyboard. Because it's like a little computer.
It'll take some adjusting to get used to. Yeah. Well, but the other nice thing is you can use your iPad as a second screen.
See, that's the other thing I'm really excited about. So anyway, we went off topic, but every single person I talk to that has all Apple products, they're so happy. They feel so organized. I feel that it's going to save me time. It's going to be great. And we've gotten super off topic. So while we're off topic, let's talk about how you foster animals.
Yes.
Not dogs and cats, guys. Like she fosters squirrels.
I've had 2 squirrels, not actually 3 squirrels, and we currently have a raccoon.
So as an animal lover, this like brings me so much joy. And I have never like met a squirrel or a raccoon, but I want to. But me and my boys love watching raccoon videos. Like they're so funny. We have this really funny video from years ago of our photographer at one of our listings. And Sean is larger than life. If you ever meet Sean Jolly, he's like super, super just funny and sarcastic. And I don't remember why Sam and I weren't there. I don't know. It was in Sam's neighborhood. I think we were getting Sean water. I don't remember. We weren't there for some reason. And they have outdoor cats. And this juvenile raccoon like snuck up on him.
Oh.
And like it looks like he has go-go gadget arms. And he takes the cat food bowl and brings it to him. And Sean like voiceovers as he says anyway, it's really, really funny. That the boys and I have watched this video like a million times. I'll try to share it with you. It's like super bad quality because it's like from 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh,
but it's so cute because it's looking right at Sean
and takes it.
And it like just takes all the cat food.
Well, they have 5 fingers like us.
They're so cute.
It's interesting. But I am learning because we just got this raccoon last night that how different rescuing a raccoon is versus a squirrel. Squirrels are very much still very wild. I have many scars from our squirrels biting me and stuff. They're definitely
they're feisty.
They're feisty. Our first squirrel that we ever fostered, his name was Stu, and he still is in the neighborhood. He is spoiled with peanuts, and my neighbor has a jar of peanuts, and he will go in her house and grab and he'll pick which peanut he wants.
They don't like all the peanuts.
He's a snob.
Wow.
Like I did that. So he used to be in our house. So, my goal is to release the animals back into the wild because that's where they belong. I do not want them in my house destroying my house. So we nurse them, we get them healthy, and then we release them. The problem with releasing them is now they're in my backyard.
Right.
Which is fine. So, we kind of become one with nature, and it's a neighborhood thing. Like we all feed the squirrels.
Wow.
But so Stu used to... When we first would let him out, he would come back in through the dog door. And my husband would sit on the couch and he'd put a peanut out. And Stu would come in, get the peanut, play with it, and then go out the dog door. And they do this all day long.
Oh
and
my
then
gosh, this is so cute.
Chewed a little hole in the window of our master bedroom.
The squirrel
screen.
did?
Yeah. So that we had the windows. This was like nice weather time, so we had the window open, and he wanted in, so he chewed a little hole in the screen. So then what ended up happening is that was his way into the house. So he'd come in at night and he'd climb up the curtains over, and he'd go sleep in our closet.
The squirrel
Stu would sleep in our closet.
Okay.
Until he got older and got a family of his own. Now he doesn't come into our house like that anymore.
He flew out of the nest.
Yes, he flew, but he'll still like jump on you. Or I have so many videos of him. It's so funny. Or, he'll let you hand feed him a nut and stuff. And some of the other squirrels, because he lets us do that, they let us do that.
Oh, my gosh.
So it'll be interesting to see how the raccoon goes, because I've heard they bond a lot more with the people that raise them.
Right.
It's so much more snuggly and it's
so
little face.
Cute because because of their little hands. I think it just makes them super, super cute.
Yeah. So my husband's like, well, we need to get a license or permit. And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to keep this in the house. Like, I've watched all the videos.
So how old do you think he is?
This one's about a month.
About a month old. And then what do they eat?
Puppy formula, cat formula.
Okay.
I did go on, so I research a lot. So that's what I was doing all night last night, trying to research. Okay, what do I need for this baby raccoon?
And do they take a bottle or they eat?
It's a bottle.
Okay, so they are being bottle fed. So
yeah,
it's like,
but I'm pretty positive it's she will only be bottle fed for like another 2 weeks, and then she'll move on to more solids,
to like a chow or like kibbles or whatever.
They actually kind of grow up faster. So
than the squirrels.
Yeah.
Okay, and then is it like sleeping in a crate?
In a box right now
In a
because she
box.
doesn't climb. But so because we've had squirrels, we have this huge. It's actually for.
I was gonna say, is it a bird cage?
It's a huge bird cage that we have like all these platforms and hammocks and things in there. So we'll move it into that eventually,
Okay.
and then eventually it'll move to the wild.
Did you name her?
My daughter did. Her name is Leia because
Leia.
my daughter is heavily into Star Wars
And it
right
was
now.
just, May the 4th.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
I understand that. Well, that's cool. And then how long until you think you will release this Lila? What is his name again?
Leia.
Oh, my God.
I'm not exactly sure. It's kind of like when it kind of feels like it's time to be released.
So you'll once it's bigger and stronger, you'll bring it outside with you and see what she does.
Yep.
Interesting. No, I mean, that's really cool. I mean, I think that anytime you can give back, it's really, really neat. And there's always different ways to give back. And when I was younger, I think I lost count, but I think I've picked up 15 stray dogs and reunited them with their families.
Oh.
So many. My first one was in college. And I went to agricultural school, so there was, cows and horses and chickens and whatever. And this dog had gotten loose and had rolled around in corn silage. Do you know what that smells like?
No.
So
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, so they take husks of corn and they chop them like this. And then you ever seen those big silos?
Yes.
So they ferment it in there. And it's what you feed cows. So cows are really efficient at taking all the nutrition out of food. So it's a really cheap food source. It's inexpensive to make, but because they have those compartment stomachs, they can rip every mineral and nutrient out of it.
Oh, wow.
Well, anyway, it's alcoholic. That's
fermented. What I was going
to
say. So is that, I thought you were going to go with that's where we get alcohol.
No. So it's fermented. So it has this really strong kind of acidic smell.
Oh.
And he had rolled all in it. And I had a Subaru Outback. And so I put him in the trunk, brought him home, and I was gagging in the car because and I had all the windows down because it just smelled so strong. But he had tags, so I was able to get him back to his owners. And
oh, wow.
I've done it so many times. I have never not taken a stray, a dog running on the street home.
Oh, wow.
Because my thought process is I have dogs, is that if any of my dogs ever get loose, it's the right karma, right? It's I would hope that someone would take my dog and find me, even though I don't have any tags on any of them, so it wouldn't help.
Funny.
But
so I have a 4-pound Yorkie who loves to escape the house.
And what's his name?
Ripper.
Ripper.
And I think he thinks it's a game because he'll get out and he'll look back at you. And if you take one step forward, he shoots out and just runs. And it's okay, well,
have fun.
Here we go. So all of our neighbors now know, if Ripper gets out, don't try to get him because he thinks it's a game. He will literally come, I'll prop open the front door and I'm just let him go. He'll if you act disinterested, he'll come home. I don't know what else to do. So we prop the screen door open and he'll literally, I have to not look at the door either. He'll come to the door and he'll look inside. And if you make eye contact, he's running off again.
Oh my God.
Fun, and I'm what? You're gonna get hit. You're
so big,
or you're gonna get scooped up by a hawk. A hawk. We have a lot of hawks because we have a lot of squirrels.
Right. Oh my God. Right. Squirrels. Yeah, for sure. Wow. Wow.
It's a nut house at our house.
It's okay. It is. It's fun.
So that's what I'm doing while I'm TCing.
Right.
I'm wrangling.
You're bottle feeding raccoons and squirrels, trying to prevent a runner named Ripper from runner. I mean, you've got all kinds of stuff going on. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really, really great. So I think what's really important is it doesn't really matter where you are in your real estate career, whether you're brand new, your business is skyrocketing or anywhere in between. Leveraging the money you're making for more time is really great and very important. And if you have a TC, I hate to say, try someone new, but maybe you should. She's really amazing. If someone wanted to get a hold of you, how will they find you?
email is the best way, but we do have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. It's just Hooked on Closing.
Okay. Or reach out to me.
Yeah.
I'm happy to connect you. I won't text you guys together. I'll put you in a group email. Because anyway, I really can't say enough good things about her. And like I said, I really considered not doing it because I didn't want to I love the podcast. I love bringing fellow entrepreneurs on. I want to elevate their business and all the things. But for a minute, I was a little selfish. I was like, oh gosh, what if she gets too busy for us? But then I decided, you'll just hire someone else.
I would hire somebody else, train them, and I would train them to do they're little mimickers of me. So the same templates are being used. They're not changing anything. So, you can use me. You can use my other girls.
Right.
They're just as great. So, and if you want to be a TC.
Oh, I never even thought of that. If you're a struggling realtor and you're looking for something else and maybe you feel like paperwork is where it's at, reach out to Michelle. Have a great conversation with her. Yep. Michelle, thank you so much for coming on. I so appreciate your time. And
thanks for having me.
So excited you are partnered with us.
I appreciate it. I enjoy being partnered with y'all.
Yay!